Welcome, everybody. We're very excited to invite you to this presentation today. My name is Beverly Doody, and I am a SCORE mentor in the Lancaster, Lebanon chapter. And this is a joint event we're doing with our neighbours in the Susquehanna chapter. I have with me some partners in crime, Andy Green, who was on our Professional Women's Network Committee. So he's the man behind the scenes here, navigating everything. So thank you, Andy, appreciate it. We've also got 3 other members who are on our committee, 2 of whom are here today, Jeannie Stevens and Linda Toth. So please wave so people know who you are. Plus, we have some additional SCORE mentors who are going to help us with the breakouts. And thank you again to Denise and to Cindy for joining us and helping us here. You are able to raise your hand if you want to ask any questions. We've got the chat, which Linda will be monitoring, and we really want to make sure that you get the most out of this presentation. So, what on earth is the SCORE Professional Women's Network? We're going to go into that in a little bit, but firstly, let me go through what we're going to do today. Now you can see I've got my agenda times from last night. So we're kicking off now for 10 minutes. Then we're going to go into the actual main event, the presentation. And we're going to talk through individually in groups, what you feel your services are, your brand is, your products are, and how we can then think about those things as we go through the main presentation. That will be around an hour in total, and then we'll come back at the end in 15 minutes just to talk through Q&A, any remarks, and very importantly, we want to get your feedback in the survey to make sure we're hitting the mark. So the idea of the SCORE Professional Women's Network was born probably about 6 months ago now. And we feel, and our clients feel in SCORE, that women do bring unique perspectives and also have distinct challenges when it comes to setting up business and working through business. This has really come to the fore over the last 2 years, where during the pandemic, the case for women has really gone back and regressed, they say 10, 20, 30 years. Women still tend to have the lion's share when it comes to looking after the home and childcare and so on. So women do have distinct needs when it comes to building a business, putting together a business and so on. So the purpose of this group is to really help to strengthen, diversify, and encourage our small business community and support women, not just practically, but also holistically, emotionally. I'm reading a really good book at the moment called The Confidence Code, which is how often women lose their confidence when it comes to thinking about, I can do this, I can build a business. So the target audience for our Professional Women's Network, women who are motivated, who are interested, creative, from a complete diverse cross-section of our local communities. It's aimed at women who are looking to start a business or who are already in business, looking for a broader type of support. Also seeking, the practical information, the emotional support, professional development, and a chance to build local networks. Now, some of you may have been able to join the session we had back in October, where we had an electric speaker, Dr. Katie Sando, who was talking about the power of purpose and passion and story. And this really continues the journey here. We want to hear about your story, your brand, what you're putting out there, why you are unique. And we believe as an organization that when women are successful in business, there's a natural ripple effect that occurs, and communities and families are strengthened through the success of women. So a little bit about this webinar today. I wear a couple of hats. So yes, I am delighted and very proud to be part of the SCORE family, nationwide organization. I've been a member now for about 3 years. Really enjoy helping people get started with their businesses and also learning from them. It's a two-way street for me. But also, aside from SCORE, I have my own small business as well. I'm a certified professional coach. I do leadership development. I like to focus on helping women be successful. And I also do a lot of career transition work. So we've seen a lot of it, as you would imagine, through the pandemic, people having to pivot into new careers and so on. So I'm not a branding expert, but I am used to coaching people through how to put their best foot forward, how to really project the image that they want to project when it comes to themselves, their business, and their services. So what we're going to cover today, quite a lot, and I would again ask you to put something in the chat, raise your hand if you have a question. We want you to get a lot out of this session. We're going to talk a little bit about what is brand. What is a brand? What are we talking about when we talk about our personal brand? I'm also going to touch base on LinkedIn. I recognize there are other social media platforms, but this focus for today is going to be how we can use LinkedIn effectively. Also, this is a professional women's network. So when we go into our breakout sessions, we want you to network with each other. We want you to share your LinkedIn URL, a little bit about your business so that you can connect with each other on this program. We're going to talk through, bearing in mind what we think our brand is and our unique selling features. We're going to talk through how we build that into our personal online profile on LinkedIn. And then in addition, how we create a business page on LinkedIn that helps us market our products and our services, or hire people or connect people. And the thing that sells it for me is there's so much we can do at no cost. So you can choose to be a LinkedIn premium member. You don't need to. If you're someone that's been in the services, you actually can get free access to the premium LinkedIn service. But I have been a member of LinkedIn now for probably 12, 15 years. I haven't paid a penny. I use it every single day. I'm actually going to take you through a quick demo as well. So you'll see my personal profile, you'll see my company profile, and I want to show you a few features there as well. I'd love you to reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Let's continue to build our network. And then just a few comments around making LinkedIn our new normal. That's never been more important than the last couple of years. We are doing still very few in-person events. We've had to learn how to live in the digital world, and that can be challenging for some. And also, this is where we want to come in and help you. So I'm going to take this off share in a moment, and we're going to go into a breakout group shortly. But before we do so, let's really think through, what is a brand? What are we talking about when we talk about a brand? And I've got two definitions here. The first one is, a brand is the personality of a company. It's the first thing consumers think of or feel when they see a company's logo or a product or they hear their name. So let's think about the big brands we have out there. Amazon. It's really great, and this is just my personal view, not SCORE's view. It's really great. I can order something and I might even get it delivered today. Wow, isn't that amazing? I've also heard a different side of the Amazon brand from the employee perspective. Let's think about, Target or Walmart or an insurance company. We see so many adverts on TV for Allstate, insurance companies and so on. And they are building their brand. You see the Geico gecko, and you have an opinion, good or bad or indifferent, or it might make you smile, but it's really important because, you latch on to what is being portrayed there. I also happen to know somebody who was the voice of the Geico gecko for 2 years. another guy from the UK, but you're going to have to speak to me separately about that one. When we're also talking about brand, this is a marketing and a business concept that helps people identify a particular company, product, or individual. Brands are intangible. You can't always touch or feel them, or, see them, but they help shape people's perceptions of companies, their products, or their individuals. And they really do have enormous value. And they can be critical in giving you a competitive edge. So what I really want you to start thinking about now as we move to the breakouts are these following questions. So as we get out, we'll be 15 minutes in each breakout. We'd like you to introduce yourselves to the other people in the breakout and talk a little bit about your business and what your business idea is. Now, if some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this, then you've come to the right class. It's very important that you have an authentic and a clear description of what you do. You might be going to a networking event run by the chamber or whatever it might be. Oh, hi, Jeannie, nice to meet you. Tell me a bit about yourself. And this is where you come out with your description about yourself, your organization, your company, and what you do. We also want you to think about the services and the products you provide. Describe those to the others in the room. Getting comfortable talking about you and your company is a really good thing. And finally, we want you to think about what makes your business unique. Why would a client want to work with you? What is it that you offer that the company 8 miles down the road doesn't offer? Why should you be the first choice when it comes to the consumer? So just to remember those 3 questions, and we'll have a facilitator in each group to help you think this through. So introduce yourself, state what your business is or your business idea is, talk a little bit about your services and your products, and then what makes you different. This is your brand. Why should a company or a client want to work with you? So I'm going to take my presentation off share. And the reason why we went through this exercise, we want you to bear this in mind as I start talking through what we can do with LinkedIn. So remember, what are your unique features? What do you want to showcase? What makes you different as we go through this presentation? Okay, so if you were struggling to really find out what makes you different, I found these 2 really neat quizzes. You'll get a copy of this presentation after the session, and these are live links. And I went in and tried them out, and it helps you really articulate what is important to you. So when you're thinking about your values, what you want to promote, have a quick go at these. They take about 10 minutes max, and they give you some really good ideas on how to craft your elevator speech, what you're selling, what's important to you, how you operate. So let's get into a little bit about LinkedIn. I was saying to my group, I've been a member for about 12 years. I probably only used it in the last 3 years. I did it because everyone signed up. But only in the last 3 years have I realized the power of having a really good LinkedIn profile. So it's the world's largest professional networking platform. Can you believe 610 million people are members of this platform? That just blows my mind. It really does. It's a site where you can stay connected with business associates, with clients, with co-workers. It's a really great way to showcase who you are. So to boost your profile, build awareness of your personal and your company brand, and help you to promote your products and your services, depending on what your business is. And it's very much a living tool. And again, I'm going to add, because I was saying in my group, free is good for me. You can use it without cost. And I always think that's a really good thing to do. So I'm going to break this presentation down into 2 parts. Firstly, we're going to look at the personal profile. And then secondly, we're going to look at the company page that you can create. So these are the various component parts that make up your profile. The professional headline, the professional headshot, and I can tell you, I've seen some horror stories with people putting their photographs on LinkedIn. We'll get into that later. The background banner, contact details. If people can't contact you, then what's the point of being on LinkedIn? The about section, this is really important. This is you, your personal billboard, showing what you can do, what you deliver, what makes you unique. There's the work experience section. There are skills and endorsements and recommendations, which I'll touch on briefly. There are licenses and certifications. Again, in my group, we had a couple of ladies who've actually got a certification in their field. So let's get it onto the LinkedIn profile. We want to show that you are professional in what you can do here. And then there are other accomplishments and interest groups. So we're going to go through each one. Now, firstly, the professional headline, a lot of people don't use that space well. You have 120 characters to talk about who you are and what you do. So when you get to my profile, and I'll show you that shortly, I've got down there that I'm a certified coach, that I am a training facilitator, that I am an HR adjunct instructor. So I can put a number of different statements there that show the breadth of what I do in my business. So for yourself, you know, we were talking in my group, interior design specialist, retirement communities, small space design, healthy living spaces. You could really start to grab someone's attention in that headline. What I suggest is you separate it with these funny little pipeline symbols. Now on your computer, you will have the shift key and you will have the key below the backspace. And that is what is the pipeline. It's like a capital I, and it just makes it very clear and easy to read. The key thing here is this profile isn't really about you. You might think, Beverly, what do you mean you've lost the plot? What it's about is your reader. You are putting something out there for your reader to consume so that they have a call to action to come and speak with you. This headline goes with you everywhere on LinkedIn. If you are connecting with somebody, if you're maybe applying for a job with somebody, if you're wanting to hire somebody. So getting this professional headline right is really important. It sums up who you are and the problems you solve. So it's a great way of just sort of saying, I'm the person you need to talk to. Now, professional photograph. I have seen photographs where I've been on holiday with Linda and Margie and Fred and Mary. I've got my arm round Linda and I've cut off part of my picture, and that's my professional headshot. Well, let me say, no, it isn't. That is your vacation shot. That is not the right shot to have on a LinkedIn profile. You don't have to go crazy and spend a fortune, but having one good headshot is really important. You look professional. There's no busy background. It's not a vacation shot. It's not you at someone's party. There's a warm smile. You look approachable. And that is really worth an investment in getting a great headshot. The background banner is that bit behind your head. It's that sort of rectangular section behind your head. And if you go into a lot of LinkedIn profiles, you'll see that people haven't bothered to put anything there. And you get that, I think, pretty ugly gray default that LinkedIn give you. So choose a background banner that is in line with your business. Again, I'm going to show you mine shortly. My picture is actually the picture outside the back of my house. And no, I haven't lost the plot, but I see hills, I see sky, I see potential. And as a leadership coach, my tagline is releasing potential. So it fits for me. You can go on various search engines and you can come up with a picture that you want to use. Make sure it's copyright free. You don't want to infringe any copyright. There are some background images that are available on through LinkedIn. Again, when you get this presentation, you can click that link and see what you've got. But you want something that's unique. That's why I don't tend to go for the LinkedIn background. I don't want to have the same background as anybody else. I think the only person who would have a similar background is probably my neighbor who's looking out on the same scene that I'm looking out at the back of my house. Contact details. I mentioned this before. A lot of people don't have their contact details in. So what's the point? So have a professional email address in there. I have seen, I was coaching some students earlier on this year, and some of their email addresses were completely inappropriate. beverlydudy@hotlegs.com is not what I want to have on my email address. So make sure it's professional. I've always been advised through career coaching to avoid an AOL address because it can date you. So just interesting little tips like that. If it's got your company name in it, then all the better. Don't make it too long because people then get bored of typing. I know it sounds crazy, but people's attention spans these days are much shorter. When you get a LinkedIn profile, you're given a randomized URL link. So it might say Beverly Doody, ABC 123 XYZ 7. That doesn't look very professional. You can customize that. And what I've done with mine is put Beverly Doody, PCC, CPC. These are my coaching credentials. So again, straight away, I am reinforcing my credentials for the business that I have. You can also put in links to other media. So why not put your website in there? I'm looking at Beverly's profile. I like what I see. Hey, there's a website. I'm going to find out more. And I always recommend to put your contact details in the About section as well later on. Remember, this profile is about you attracting other people. Make it easy for them to find you and to reach out to you. So this is the top of my profile. And I also like the Amish farm. This will be a lovely memory of me living in Strasbourg all these years. So I have a professional headshot. The background banner, you can see with the little pencil in the top right-hand corner, that's where you change it. But I want that to, I can see sky, I can see hills, I see the future, I see opportunity. And then showing on the left-hand side, my professional headline. So you'll notice in my name, I've put down some of my qualifications. And also I've put down here that I'm a certified professional coach. You see the pipeline symbol, learning and development facilitator, pipeline symbol, adjunct HR instructor, and so on. So I am showing the breadth of what I can offer with my business. If we move to the right-hand side, you can see the name of my business. And if you don't have a company page, you can't show your logo. And I just think it looks incomplete if you have the default LinkedIn logo. Excuse me, let's make sure we have our company logo. You also have any school you've been to there as well. Going down the bottom on the left-hand side, you can see here that I'm talking about the services I provide. So executive coaching, life coaching, training, and so on. So let's do that with your profile. Let's put down that you are distributing high quality, good price packaging for gifts, that you are an interior designer, that you go for reader, you take the headache out of design. On the right-hand side, you can actually put down here if you're hiring. So if your business is growing, you want to attract somebody, you can switch that on. So someone looking for a job can find you and connect with you. And down the bottom in the middle, I put down here the all-important button. And this is the add profile section. So every time you want to add in your about section, you want to add in some media, you want to add in your work experience, your education, your qualifications, you go to that add profile section and that helps get you there. The other thing to point out here, you've got a link, you see the blue writing to contact info. That's where I've got everything to do with how to get in contact with me, my private email address and so on. And also I've got 500 plus connections. LinkedIn count every connection you have until you get to 501. So you look more established if you have 500 plus connections. Again, just a little tip there for you to have a look at. So your about section, this is really, really key. You have 2,000 words to knock it out of the park. This is about your reader. My about could be better, but I think I've got enough for now. What's your hook? What's your elevator speech? What's your brand? When you first go into your personal profile, all you see on the about section is around 280 words or characters. If you haven't grabbed people's attention by that point, they are not going to click the read more URL. So be really clear up front what you do, what you offer, what problems you solve. Then in your about section, you can include your strengths, your interests, your abilities, your core accomplishments. If you've got metrics to show what you've been able to deliver, fantastic. Excuse me, your skills, your proficiencies, your educational, professional qualifications. Maybe you've got other language skills, put those in there as well. Perhaps you have a technical skill. Perhaps you are running a training business for health and safety, and you've got an OSHA qualification. And then also, again, you notice my personal contact details. So again, for my reader, rather than coming out of this section and going back into the contact section, I've got it all here for them. I'm making it really easy. So I just want to pause, and Linda, I just want to ask you, I see some things in chat. Are there any questions that I need to answer at this point?
No, we're fine, Beverly.
We're good. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go into the experience section. Again, what I've done here, because I have a business page, I can put my logo in. And I've used a lot of white space. I've used some bullet points. What I want to make sure is it's very easy on my reader to read. So they can see at a glance what I'm doing. The most important period really is the last really 10 to 15 years. If you go back much further, people aren't going to read it. And to be honest, what you did 25 years ago doesn't matter anymore. I know it was a really important stepping stone for you, but really what you're selling is what you're doing now. That's the key thing to remember here. So you can accomplish, you can rather share your accomplishments. You keep your statement short, bullet points, really help to tell the story about what you do.
Beverly, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please do. Go ahead, Jody.
What do you put in the experience if you just changed careers so you don't have a work history in your new field yet?
So what are your values? What is the mission of your organization? Why are you passionate about the pivot you're making in your career? What's driven your story? So anything around that that tells your story. The fact that, you know, you've found an opportunity, this is something that's really excited you, you've got qualified in this, you know, and you're really passionate about creating healthy spaces for young for whatever it might be. It's your story. You know, why are you in business? What's your why? Why are you here? So that's something to think about. But you will have skills from your work experience that you're employing here. So maybe you have empathy, maybe you have an eye for design, maybe you're innovative, maybe you've been able to come up with a, you know, very different type of solution. So, you know, use the skills you've had because it was part of your stepping stone, and now talk about your vision and what you're wanting to achieve with your new company. Does that help, Jody?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so skills and endorsements. This section is important. Now, I want to talk a little bit about recommendations, and I have someone that I'm coaching similar to you, Jody, that's changed their course. They were in the oil and gas industry, and now they have a food truck selling burritos. He said, what do I do? How do I do this? And I said, well, talk about your story. And his story is around, he gives a certain percentage of his profit to local communities that have challenges. So he has a real story that he's selling. And I said, but do get some recommendations from customers. So it doesn't matter so much about getting corporate recommendations from when you were in your other full-time job, but get some recommendations, and I'll show you how to do that. So I worked with Jodie on this project. I was absolutely stunned by how she was able to make everything so easy and smooth. I had clarity about what it was going to cost me, and I'm delighted with the job. Okay. So, and they really make a difference when people are looking at your profile. If you have recommendations, if you have endorsements, if you post regularly, you have a very active profile and it gets more hits. The more you put in, the more you get out. The skills are going to be very important. In your previous role, the fact that you were a physiotherapist isn't going to really help you in your new venture. So the skills you want to have showing are the top 3 skills that are going to help.
Beverly, if you can hear me, this is Linda. We can't hear your audio. At least I can't.
Oh,
There you are. Is everybody else okay, I guess?
Yeah, we lost you for a second.
oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, you're back now. Thank you.
and that was the most important part of the whole thing. Would you believe it? So I've got a little message saying my internet connection is unstable, so I will persevere. And hopefully if I come in and come out, let me know and I can repeat. Okay. So finally, before we get into the next step, accomplishments. Those of you that have done, maybe you've got a patent, maybe you've got a foreign language capability, maybe you had a publication and you put something in your publication. Licenses and certifications, I put in there my coaching certifications. Some of the people in our group had interior design certifications, put those in there. And then when it comes to interests, you can follow influencers, companies, groups, and schools. So I, in my profession, being an HR person, I follow people like Simon Sinek, who's a leadership guru, Richard Branson. I do a lot of coaching with female leaders and emerging female leaders. I think Jacinda Ardern, who is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, is an amazing female role model. I follow her. And what you find is they will post from time to time. It keeps you current, keeps you up to date. I follow companies that I might like to work with. So I will go on their page and I will follow them. I follow groups. So I will follow a coaching group because there's strength in numbers. I need support too in my field. And then schools. I did a couple of programs at Cornell. I also follow Goldsmiths College in the UK where I did my degree. So there are different organizations, groups, people that you may want to follow.
Beverly.
Yes.
We do have a question from Wendy. She asks, can you pull the recommendations from Google to illustrate in LinkedIn?
You can't, no. When it comes to recommendations, and I'll show you that, Wendy, you can only get a recommendation on LinkedIn from someone you're connected with. And I'll show you when we go into the quick demo how we do that. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Okay. So a little known secret about LinkedIn is that you remember that all important button I told you about? You can actually go under the sister button, the more button, and pull off a PDF of what others see about your profile. So this is a download I did a couple of days ago on my profile. And you can see here on the left-hand side, you see where I'm based, you see my mobile number, you see my email address, my LinkedIn URL, you see I've customized it, PCC, CPC, my top skills, which help me with my profession, coaching, leadership development, performance management, my languages, I'm not quite fluent, but I did French at university and I speak some German, and then my certification. So straight away, if someone is pulling that from LinkedIn on you, they're getting a nice overview of who you are and why you're qualified to do what you do. On the right-hand side here, you see my title, so my headline, and also the start of my About section. And it's funny, in this PDF format, they call it a summary. Don't know why, but they do. So you can pull that off for potential people that you'd like to contact too. So maybe you find that that person you want to talk to, and what I find around here, everyone's been to Penn State. They also went to Penn State. It could be a really great way of having an icebreaker with somebody. You know, think about where you work with people, where you've been to college with people. These could be part of your potential network to help you build your business. Okay. So as we come to the end of this section, really think about that strong headline. It's about who you are, what you do, the problems you're solving. You can use the open for hiring section. It's great for leveraging your network and building ongoing relationships. There's a search function that I'm going to show you shortly. Post engaging, relevant content about your business, about your industry, anything that supports your personal objectives. And if you're commenting on other people's posts, don't go through the lazy route and just hit the emoji. Put a little comment. What really did you find thought-provoking about that article? What did you enjoy? What did you learn? Again, I don't profess to understand all of the algorithms in LinkedIn, but all these things that you do show that you have an active profile. And an active profile means that you get more hits. So one really, really important thing, before you all rush off and start changing your profiles, please switch your visibility to no. Now, what that means is, and this is the route you go through, and I will show you shortly. Settings and privacy, visibility menu, visibility of your LinkedIn activity, job changes, education changes, work anniversaries. Switch that to no. I'll tell you why. I have over 2,000 connections on LinkedIn. If I have that switched on to yes, and I make a change to something in my work history, all of my connections will be advised of it. If I make another change, they'll all get another notification. If I do another change, they'll get another notification. And that's a really quick way to upset people. So if you're making changes to your profile, turn your visibility off so that you don't make your connections crazy. Okay. So we're going to just quickly go into the company page before we get into the demo. So on the left-hand side here, what you see is my page, which I've shown you already. On the right-hand side, this is my company page. And you'll note I'm using the same background banner because I want to have a consistent approach. I've got my logo. I've got my tagline, releasing potential. You can see the field I'm in, human resources. You see where I'm based. I can also down the bottom, and this might be something, Jody, that might help you. Under the About section in my company page, I've put down a little bit about my philosophy about coaching and how I believe that a lot of people hold themselves back. They don't have the confidence. They don't have the belief. No one's challenging them to say, I think you can. So you can really play with that. And again, you know, this is an open profile. Anyone can go on and have a look. I'm not saying mine is the best, but it gives you an idea of what I've done. Okay. Now, on the left-hand side here in the blue section, you see LinkedIn underlined. That's a live link that helps you build a company page. And in the top section here, in the green circle, this is where it takes you to. And you click on the small, medium, large businesses to start creating your page. When you click on that link, it takes you to this bottom picture where you start to put in your page identity and all the details about your company. So 3 tips when you're building your business page. First one, make sure you complete everything on your page. Add your company logo. That is so powerful. That is your brand. Add your company tagline. Again, when we were talking in our group, and Emily, I hope you don't mind me sharing, I was saying, what's unique about what you do and your products? They're a good price, they're high quality, and they're unique. Great. Let's think about that in your tagline. You've also got space to put 3 to 4 paragraphs which describe your company. That might include your mission, your vision, your values, your why. Why are you in business? A description of your products and your services. Have in there your website link. You want them to look at your website and feel more confident about you. And it's funny with websites, I find having one helps me get business. I don't use it very much, but I have it. It almost gives more credibility to the fact that you are in business. Your industry, your company size, which is normally the number of employees, the type of company it is, your cover image, your banner again. And as I said here, you may want to align that with your personal page. The second tip here is about posting engaging content. Now, LinkedIn recommend daily. That's a lot, but they do say that pages that post weekly see a 2 times lift in engagement. So if you can't commit to daily, try to commit to weekly. It makes a difference in how many hits your page gets. It's a way of developing that consistent interactive voice, which is really key to growing your community, your followers. When you have a company page, invite people to follow you. Using images, videos, and other media in your posting just sets you apart. And again, another stat here from LinkedIn, having a video on LinkedIn is 5 times more likely to start a conversation within your community than any other type of content. So it might be you talking about something. It might be you talking about your vision, your passion, why you've pivoted, what you can do, whatever it might be. Don't just promote your business, ask a question. You want to elicit a response to get people to connect with you and start a conversation. And when you get that response, always make sure that you respond. It shows you care, it shows you're interested, you're keeping that communication going. And then the final tip before we get into the demo is you can look at your analytics daily. So again, what I like about this, you're not paying for this page, but you can go in and maybe you've posted something about, maybe it's a seasonal thing. Do you want to have your community designed for the Christmas holidays? You can put a post in, and then you can see what traffic is coming to your site. Did my post work? Is it going to the right people? Do I need to change the content? And you can do that generally, or you can do it within a specific time frame if you wish. You can look at the number of page views you've had and the number of unique visitors. It gives you a sense of who's coming and looking at your page. And if you're feeling really ambitious, and this bit I haven't tried myself, you can even host a live LinkedIn event. Maybe that's not for the faint-hearted, but that's something that you could always think about as well. So I'm going to come off share and I'm going to go into my profile. So let me just quickly do that. I'm going to share my whole screen. So I'm going to apologize if anything else pops up. Please just ignore it. So, okay. So let me get out of this. I'm going to, hang on just a moment. I want to do a new share. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to move the bar at the top. It's getting in the way of all of my screens. Would you know it? Okay. So this is how you create a LinkedIn page. And again, that URL in the presentation will take you there. And let me get rid of my messages that are open. If I click into this company page, and you'll see it coming up, I can start to put in my name, the LinkedIn company address, my website, my company details. So if you look about industry here, it gives you drop-down options if you're in banking, civil engineering, whatever you may be. Move further down, the size of your company. You know, is it just one employee? Is it, 2 to 10? I've put down 2 to 10, which is a little bit of a fudge, but I think it gives me more credence as a company, but that's your decision. And then here you can actually upload your logo. So that's how you start to build your company page. So I'm going to go into my personal profile here, and I want to make sure that you can see it. So Linda, I'm going to ask you again if you can see my individual page.
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you. So this is my individual page. Again, you saw this before. The More button is where you can actually pull it off into a PDF. The Profile section here is where you can add a different part, your education, add a position, etc. But as we go down here, or before I do that, the URL, I said that LinkedIn gives you a funny combination of letters and numbers and so on. If you go into this profile here, you see the little pencil, you can change. And as long as nobody else has exactly the same URL as you, then you can save it. So you could put in, Beverly Doody interior design, Beverly Doody gift boxes, whatever it might be, you can do that. So let me just go back in here again. Just thinking about it, I'm going to go back into my profile. Okay, so you will see as I move down my profile, I'm trying not to make you too seasick. 157 people have had a look at my profile. 1,088 post views. Who's engaging with my posts? I've appeared in 60 searches recently. So what it's saying to me is that my profile is hitting well, it's being looked at. If I go further down here, I mentioned about your About section, which is called the summary. I've got so much space here before I hit that See More button. Really important what I do in this space here, because that's where I want to grab people's attention. I've also put down here some media, and these are various qualifications I've got. I've got a video of an interview I did. You could put in your video, you could put in some pictures of some designs you've done, whatever it might be. As I move down, you can see that I've got some activity here. I posted something yesterday that was shared saying, hey, come and join us in the Professional Women's Network. Moving further down, you can see my experience. And then I want to go down to the skills section. So again, try not to make you too seasick here. And you can see coaching, leadership development, and performance management are my skills. You can have up to 50 skills. But the 3 that show should be the ones that are going to really help you promote yourself and your brand. And then recommendations. I think it was Wendy that asked the question here. You can only put down recommendations from people that you are connected with on LinkedIn. And if I wanted to get a recommendation, I'm going to press the plus. I'm going to ask for a recommendation. I'm going to find someone. I know there's this person here that I haven't asked for a recommendation, but he's connected with me, and I can continue and ask the relationship with him. Well, he was senior to me, but he didn't manage me. What was my position at the time? I was a coach. And then I can send a personal letter, which I'm not going to do now, saying, hey, could you give me a recommendation, please? So I'm going to cancel out of that. But it's that simple. I want to discard my changes. Okay. And then when it comes through, it'll come on the right-hand side under your messages, okay? And then just moving further down, languages, influencers that I follow. Try and get about 4 to 5 different recommendations. It strengthens your brand. Now, company page, under my little drop down here, actually one thing I'm going to quickly show you first. You can see that I've got my company page here, but I wanted to show you the settings and privacy. So you want to make sure that you're not driving all your connections crazy. So I go in there, I go into the visibility menu, and this is in the deck that you'll get. I go into that sub menu, the visibility of your LinkedIn activity, and it says share profile updates with your network. I've changed it to no. I don't want to drive people bonkers with all the changes I'm making. So let me go back to LinkedIn. Okie dokie. And then if I go again in here, I come down to my company, the Smart Coach. This is my view, but I could turn it into a member view. So if I switch that button, this is what members who follow me will see when it comes up. So again, they see a bit about my business. They see, again, they can hit the see more button, what it is we offer, things I've posted, and so on. Okay. I'm going to go back and see it again as an admin. So a slightly different view. They're saying I'm almost complete. I've sort of 7 of the 8 things here to make it a really good profile. So again, going down, I could start a post. I can see who's following me. I can invite them to follow me, and so on. I've got some statistics here. I appeared in 2 searches in the last couple of days. I had 3 unique visitors. Okay. I got post impressions of 40%, which is really good. And then finally, up here, you see the analytics tab? You can look at visitors. So again, this is all free stuff. Between the 2nd of February and the 16th of February, I can see who visited my site. Okay. So I'm just going to go back into my main presentation, but before I do, any more chat that I need to answer, Linda?
Nope, we're okay. Adriana has been nice enough to help everyone with understanding the size of the background banner.
Great.
Yeah, so we're good to go.
This is what I love. This is what I love about networking. Everyone helping each other, which is fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my presentation as we start to wrap up and get into the Q&A. So let me share back here. And Linda, I just want to make sure you can see my PowerPoint again.
Yes, I can.
Great. Okay. So last 2 years have been extraordinary in many, many different ways. I think that's the biggest understatement that I can make. The importance of your social media for your business is really critical. We are having to work from home more than ever. Not being able to meet people has been a real struggle. We've lost a lot of community, I think, speaking personally. We have less in-person access to each other. But what we can do is really leverage LinkedIn to create some touch points with our clients, with our colleagues, with our connections, recruiters, hiring managers, whatever it might be. It really is your personal billboard for showcasing what you do and the value that you can bring to others. And I may have mentioned it once or twice. You don't have to pay for it. It also, is important to keep your activity current, post and comment on other people's posts, follow your influencers, and really make it work for you. I've also included here a link that takes you to the LinkedIn help page. So there, one quick thing I'll share with you. I had someone who reached out to me to connect recently, and I agreed to connect. And then I started getting a few strange messages, oh, I'm very happy to connect with you. And I thought, well, you asked me. And then I got a message saying, how are you? And then I got another message the next morning saying, I haven't heard from you. How are you? And then I had another message saying, where do you live? And I thought, I've got some red sirens flashing here. So you can block people that you don't feel comfortable with. And again, if you go on this LinkedIn link, it will help you, go into how do I block people that I'm not comfortable with? Okay, it's something I think particularly as women we need to think about. And also remember, when it comes to social media with this platform, you put on what you're comfortable with about you. You can put your birthday in LinkedIn. I don't. I'm always nervous about people, stealing identities. You can put your address in LinkedIn. I don't. I just put my location. let's think about the security aspect here as well.